Well, hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Friday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone watching this video. I hope you and your loved one is having a wonderful day. We do have some extreme weather that's going to be impacting some critical infrastructure and some residents and citizens around the country. I'm going to get right into that. Did just want to mention, though, that we spent the first 4 days of the week down in Florida. The first talk we gave was at the Blake Library in Stuart, Florida for the Oceanographic Center, for the Florida Oceanographic Center. And then the second one was just on Wednesday at Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute in Fort Pierce, Florida. Just some wonderful organizations there and tremendous attendance, record-breaking attendance, we understand, from those organizations. And that is so nice to hear and so great to interact with so many people about our new book, Megalodons, Mermaids, and Climate Change, Answers to Your Ocean and Atmosphere Questions. Well, there's a lot of questions going on today because we had an atmospheric river over the last several days come into Southern California. That created quite a bit of mud flow activity and debris flow activity where the Palisades fire was. And fortunately, I don't think we had many injuries, if any at all. Just a lot of mud and debris flows when that water hits those burn scar areas. What I want to do here is do a quick roundup because we do have some flood threats and severe weather threats and also some winter weather threats as well. What you see here, and I'll take this full screen, is the Eastern satellite picture. This is from the GOES satellite operated by NOAA. This is orbiting 22,300 miles up. We can monitor, look at this. Here comes the sunset across Maine and into Pennsylvania. In the meantime, we have a lot of moisture that's going to be setting up and flowing in to southeastern Missouri and Kentucky and northeast Arkansas, where we could have some flooding rains here starting tonight into tomorrow. We have a very progressive weather pattern, and here's the whole U.S. You can see there's a lot of cold air up to the north and some scattered snow. But what we're looking at also, look out here on the West Coast. This is a big dip here where we're going to be having some active weather throughout the upcoming week. And here's a look from the West Coast perspective. This is the GOES West satellite. That's orbiting over the Pacific, about 135 degrees west and 0 degrees latitude. This is what it looks like from that perspective. There is a big cyclone, low pressure system in the Gulf of Alaska generating huge waves, 30 to 35 foot waves out here. Very, very dangerous conditions. Storm force winds as well. That is going to be moving towards the north. So California, the good news is you're out in the clear for now. This is what it looks like in Southern California. It has cleared up. I'll change these borders here to black so you can see what it looks like in Southern California. And the atmospheric river forecast is looking pretty good because it's not very active, at least currently. And no atmospheric rivers expected in the next couple of days. Now, we did have a huge amount of snow, more than 5 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevadas falling. And you can see that here. I can zoom right in. And there's a lot of snow here around Lake Tahoe. But also these low-level clouds clearing out in the valley. And here's San Francisco here. Finally, getting rid of some of the fog and low clouds and rain, but there will be some more headed into that area. But this is the way it looks from the West Coast. Now, what I'd like to do is I'll widen out here on the East Coast again because I want to go over to GeoCollaborate and show you what the issues are that we're watching and get right into the forecast here because we do have some serious things that are shaping up. This is what it looks like in GeoCollaborate right now. And you can see this green area, yellow area, red area, and even pink pink area here in northeast Arkansas, up towards western Tennessee and into Kentucky, where there is a high likelihood of flash floods and flooding rains over the next 36 to 48 hours because of a low pressure system that's going to be forming and also producing some severe weather. And as that low pressure winds up, it's going to be right here, the bullseye in western Kentucky. Confidence is increasing that some major floods could happen in this area. So if you're operating any transportation, logistics, any truck or fleet utility movements, please be aware that we're looking at a potential major flood in this area in purple, and even down into the red area where in northeast Arkansas and also into northern Kentucky, southern Ohio, and western West Virginia. If you notice in the top of the crawl in the red area, there is mutual assistance. Crews from Georgia are responding into West Virginia to help to restore power as we speak. And so they use the interstate system heading up into West Virginia. And that's why the crawl says, please, those states, please help those trucks get across your state lines through way stations, toll booths, and construction sites. But this area here, even up into western Pennsylvania, there's a chance in southern and southeast Pennsylvania across Maryland, there's a chance of some flooding rain. We had some snow in the area in the mid-Atlantic and also down through Virginia over the last several days. And that was evident on satellite imagery as well. Here is the latest NASA satellite imagery. This is from the MODIS sensor on the Terra satellite that orbits from pole to pole and takes images so we can monitor growth rates in vegetation. We can monitor snow on the ground. There's all sorts of capabilities that this NASA satellite brings us. It's not just for research. We can use it for operations as well. And you can see this band of snow. Look, we can get even closer here. Look at this. Here's Charlottesville, Virginia. Let's get in here and look. Richmond, just in the northern suburbs of Richmond, there is a band of snow still on the ground. And look at it out here in the mountains of West Virginia here. Lots of great skiing conditions in those areas. But notice that the snow is melting in the Washington, D.C. area over towards the east in Anne Arundel County, over towards Annapolis. Still some vestiges of snow visible from satellite over central Delaware and Maryland's eastern shore, Kent Island, all the way down to Tillman Island and across the eastern shore. But it's melting, and it will continue to melt because temperatures are going to get very mild in front of this storm system that's going to be shaping up. And that's what I want to show you here in the weather forecast models in just a moment. But for GeoCollaborate, we do have this area of potential flooding. Now, I'm going to turn this off because I do want to highlight also the winter storm severity index, and that is this area in the gray and yellow and orange and some red here. I'll put on the legend so you can see what it looks like. But this is the Winter Storm Severity Index from the Weather Prediction Center at the National Weather Service. And so we have some moderate impact snows that will be happening throughout central Michigan, including Lansing, Detroit, over to Grand Rapids, and even down towards Chicago, Illinois, and up along the western shoreline of Lake Michigan here in Wisconsin. So to the east of Madison, that includes Milwaukee and places like that. We'll have some impactful driving conditions over the next 1 to 3 days. But look at this towards the east. I want to show you in West Virginia and also Western Maryland. We will have some high impact events coming up. And that is because we're going to have a combination of freezing rain and sleet and snow that's going to happen overnight tonight or tomorrow afternoon because a weather system is going to be developing and moving up towards West Virginia into Pennsylvania. Let me back out here a little bit and show you what it looks like and the impact looks like up in Maine, because this storm system is going to be moving up to the west of Maryland and Virginia. So that means they'll be in the warm sector. But as it comes up here into western New York, we're going to have cold enough air in here to have a combination of snow, sleet, and possibly some freezing rain, with some major impacts up here in northern Maine. These are major impacts to driving and also critical infrastructure, roadways, power infrastructure. We'll have to be monitoring this over the weekend and see what happens here, because this is going to be the first of what will be several storms that'll be moving through. We've already had 3 storms last week and the week before. So this winter storm severity index is just to point out where areas of concern are related to winter weather. And you can see, fortunately, no impacts expected from winter weather in the Sierra Nevadas in California up into southern Oregon, but we do have some minor impacts in through Snoqualmie Pass and here into the western Washington and eastern Washington as well, northern Idaho. So that's what it looks like for the winter storm severity index. But one more time, I just want to show you the 3-day excessive rain outlook that is highlighted by the Weather Prediction Center in College Park, Maryland. I'll take off the legend there and show you once again. And I want to just dive in here a little bit closer into Kentucky and identify some towns where this is going to be impactful. So we're talking about Bowling Green. This is Bowling Green, Kentucky here, Butler County, Grayson County. All of these counties that you see in purple are going to be high impact events. Here's Hopkinsville in Kentucky, also Murray. They were hit hard several years ago by that tornado outbreak. Even Paducah, Kentucky, if you live in Paducah, around there, expect perhaps flooding rains over the next 36 hours because of this low pressure system that's developing. And down here across into Missouri as well, and northeastern Arkansas, we could see some of this as well. This is Blytheville, Mississippi. This is the Mississippi River right here is Arkansas, Blytheville, Arkansas, and also in southern parts here of Missouri. This is sort of like the boot heel of Missouri, where we could see some flooding rains. And not just focusing on the purple area. This is the highest likelihood of flooding rains, but severe weather, severe thunderstorms, and heavy rain could cause flooding in Little Rock, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, Knoxville, Tennessee, even over towards Charlotte, North Carolina, and into West Virginia, including Charleston, West Virginia, where you have a higher likelihood of flooding happen, extends all the way up into Columbus and into Pittsburgh as well. So I can't emphasize this enough. Because this weather system could be high impact. I'm going to show you the model data as well and show you what that looks like over the next 36 to 48 hours here. This initialization was at 12Z this morning, so about 7 o'clock this morning. And this is valid tonight. So high pressure over the mid-Atlantic is keeping it relatively dry, although some low-level moisture is moving in. But I want to put this into motion here and show you. This is 0Z, so this is tonight. But by early in the morning tomorrow, you can see this low pressure system developing around the panhandle of Oklahoma. And pretty quickly, the moisture fetch out of the Gulf is producing some moderate to heavy rain in parts of western Tennessee, Kentucky, and southeastern Missouri here. And also kicking off with some light snow and perhaps sleet in Pennsylvania and Maryland tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow afternoon in parts of central Maryland and southern Pennsylvania, where we could have some snow and sleet at the initial onset because of colder temperatures in place. But As this low pressure system winds up, you'll see it moves to the west, and it's all going to be a warm sector event here through much of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and down in here. But you can see perhaps some freezing precipitation, sleet, freezing rain. That's why we had the winter storm severity index in parts of the West Virginia mountains and western Maryland as well for impacts there. But look at this yellow area. This is where we could have some showers and thunderstorms, heavy at times, northeastern Arkansas into Kentucky, where we could have major impacts, because here's why. This is going to be a persistent heavy downpour in these areas. Watch this. This is by Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Look how this area kind of remains stationary, but it also expands in its intensity down into Arkansas and over into southern Illinois, Indiana, and over into Kentucky as well. We'll go on and advance this into Sunday morning at about 1 in the morning here. Look at this heavy rain, heavy precipitation, very strong winds as this low pressure system wraps up, and a strong southerly wind bringing warm, moist air up into Maryland and Pennsylvania, where flooding is possible there as well. But look at how this heavy rain just is persistent in this area as this low wraps up. Very strong winds, perhaps high wind advisories will be issued here, and there could be near blizzard conditions in parts of Michigan, where we'll have moderate snows but very strong winds. And if it continues for more than 3 hours and visibility gets below a half a mile, that's the definition of a blizzard. But it looks like we'll have the winds in place, and also severe weather down here in the southeastern part of the United States. This is including Alabama, parts of Georgia, eastern Tennessee. Keep your eyes out for your local broadcast meteorologist, your favorite broadcast meteorologist you like to watch, the National Weather Service. They have staff at 122 weather forecast offices around the country watching the severe weather to keep you safe, to issue those official tornado warnings, tornado watches, and also flash flood watches, and flood warnings, and also severe thunderstorms. They're the authoritative voice. Nobody else can issue tornado warnings or flood warnings and things like that. So we have some major weather in store over the next 36 hours. And notice in the mid-Atlantic, it's nothing but rain, even up into southern New York. And we'll continue this progress. Look at this. All rain in Pennsylvania, throughout Virginia and North Carolina. It's going to be a very rainy Saturday afternoon into all of Sunday for the mid-Atlantic here. Meanwhile, in the northwestern side of this system, snow, sometimes heavy at times, with very intense wind along with this. This could impact some power critical infrastructure as well. And as we go into Sunday night, look at this. Lots of sleet and freezing rain throughout Maine, and also in the northern part, very heavy snow. And this is going to be a wet snow. The snow, where it does fall, is going to be very wet and could weigh down branches and power lines, causing quite a few power outages. Now, I just want to back out a little bit and show you where the cold air is. This big blob of cold air is it's basically 850 millibars, what we call it. Meteorologists call it about 6,000 feet up in the atmosphere. Where's the cold air? Well, this purple area is where it is. Look how dominant it is across eastern Canada, the Maritimes there, and across the northern part of the country. As we put this in motion, I just want to show you what happens with the cold air. Look at this warm air being pumped up by that low pressure system that's going to be causing severe weather in the southeast. That is really warm air. No snow is going to be falling out of that. But then look at this. After that low passes through, it draws in the cold air once again. Right behind that front, cold Arctic air is going to be coming in to the northeast and down across Maryland. And that is going to be next week, around Thursday into Friday, where we'll have colder air coming in. And that means we'll also have another chance of snow. But look at this. We'll have another warm up pretty quickly, Sunday the 16th, before yet another area of cold air comes in. So don't put those cold jackets away just yet. It looks like we're going to have some cold air dominating here in the U.S., the central and eastern part of the country through the end of February. It looks like right now, until things warm up, maybe by the 23rd, 24th of February. That's just a long-term look at the air masses here. Now, I do want to make one point with the atmospheric rivers, and this is what I wanted to show you. This is the point that I'm highlighting here, which is around the Palisades fire area in northwest Los Angeles. This is what has happened. This is the line for right now. So this is all in the past. You can see that atmospheric river has passed, and there's nothing in the future over the next 5 to 7 days for Southern California. That is great news. So that's what I wanted to point out for this update. We do have this significant rain chance. We're talking 5 to 7 inches of rain possible in Kentucky, northeastern Arkansas, also into southern Ohio, and portions of western and northwestern Tennessee. You've had snow that's melted. The soil is saturated. Your ground can't handle 5 to 7 inches of rain. Likely there will be flood warnings in effect. Let me take you real quickly over to GeoCollaborate and show you the watches, warnings, and advisories that are in effect right now. I'll turn off the 3-day excessive rainfall, but then I want to turn on the watches, warnings, and advisories. And look at this. All these green areas here, these are flood watches in effect from central Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and through central Tennessee, western and southwestern Virginia, West Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania, including Pittsburgh, and down through southern Ohio, southern Indiana, Illinois, and all of Kentucky. This is the bullseye where we're likely to see flood warnings issued and perhaps even some flood emergencies issued when the rainfall rates are so heavy it could be causing rescues to happen out of cars, people being rescued out of cars and low-lying areas. Meanwhile, at the higher elevations of North Carolina, western North Carolina, look at this, a high wind advisory or high wind warning in effect already because of the high winds at the higher elevations that'll be very persistent during the night tonight through Saturday night as this low pressure system wraps up. This blue area, this is a winter weather advisory in effect for a narrow band here for the precipitation starting as some freezing rain, sleet, or snow in these areas. Particularly higher elevations above 1,000 feet is likely to be more slippery than below 1,000 feet. But then look at this, all the way into most of Pennsylvania. Initially, the sleet and snow could cause slipperiness. And as we get on into New England, these are winter storm warnings in effect throughout Vermont and New Hampshire, along with high wind warnings and winter storm warnings here. The wind advisory, boy, Mount Washington, those observations are going to be really spectacular with this storm wrapping up. And look at this, off of Lake Ontario, a winter storm watch, a lake effect snow warning, and winter weather advisories in effect in this whole area. Northern Maine, we're talking wind advisory, we're talking winter storm watch, and a cold weather advisory as that cold air comes in right behind that strong low pressure system. So there's a lot going on here in the upper part of the Great Lakes. Look at this, winter weather advisory, a hydrologic outlook. We have a winter weather advisory and these hydrologic outlooks for potential flooding with very strong winds coming across the Lake Michigan and causing flooding. Also, perhaps off of Lake Huron when this low pressure passes through. So there's going to be very large waves in Lake Michigan and Lake Huron because of this storm. Up here in the northern Great Lakes here, look at this. Heavy freezing spray. This is Lake Superior. Heavy freezing spray warning in effect. When these winds kick up and the incredibly cold air comes in, that's going to cause immediate freezing on any ships, any vessels that are out there in the lakes, and also any houses, piers, lighthouses that are around here in Lake Superior will likely get caked with a lot of snow. Up in the upper Midwest, cold weather advisory for wind chills of 40 degrees below zero in North Dakota and extreme western Minnesota. And then out here in Colorado, we're talking about winter storm warnings going on because this low pressure is coming through there right now. It's going to really develop when it hits the plains and into Oklahoma. This is where we're having heavy snows right now. Winter storm watches and warnings in effect here in Colorado. Winter weather advisories just west of Denver up towards Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Ski resort there, winter storm warnings, and also throughout parts of the higher elevations of Nevada. Now here in western Nevada and eastern California, I just wanted to point this out. They had 4 to 5 feet, some local areas getting more than 5 feet of snow. This is an avalanche warning in effect throughout the Sierra Nevada range right here, and that is because of the incredibly unstable snow. 5 feet of snow fell after a bunch of rain, and it's just an unstable snow base here. An avalanche warning is in effect, and also winter storm warnings at the higher elevations here. Below that, a flood watch is in effect. So this is a bad combination here of temperatures that are changing rapidly to make it go from rain to snow, creating avalanche conditions. Now out here in parts of California, there is a frost advisory with cold air coming down in the central portion of California. That is causing frost advisories to be issued, and that's all the way from Santa Rosa, including Napa. What do we know about Napa? That's wine country, folks, and frost advisories aren't taken too lightly out there in the Napa area. And so it's going to be cold in central California, even down towards southern California as well. High surf advisories continue in effect in southern California, even down towards San Diego, high surf advisories. So that's what it looks like for this weather update. It's went a little longer than I wanted it to, but I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Please be weather aware. We're in a very progressive weather pattern. We have very intense rainfall and some severe weather likely tomorrow. Please, if you're in Kentucky, do everything you can to know where you are in relationship to a stream, even a small stream or a river, because they could flood very quickly with intense rainfall. It's going to run off very, very quickly. We'll keep you posted. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This has been an update for the All Hazards Consortium, sensitive information sharing environment. Appreciate you watching. Please take care of yourself, and please also watch out for your neighbors. They really do appreciate it. Have yourself a good weekend. Stay safe.